very heavily on the basis of what this group thinks and how they feel. So we've asked this group to elect their class speaker. And that class speaker tonight is none other than Gordon Gips.
Thank you, Bob, for the introduction. I didn't even say anything funny. All right. You all set? All right. First off, I want to welcome everyone, all the excited PrepMD graduates, faculty, family, and friends to this august ceremony. I want to thank PrepMD and all the faculty and instructors for cramming 2 years' worth of knowledge into 6 action-packed months. You described learning to us as material that would be learned in a span of 6 months, and it would be like drinking from a fire hose. Your job was to help keep the hose pressure to a minimum so we wouldn't be completely washed away. I think you all did a great job with keeping us well hydrated. Granted, we were still drinking from a fire hose, and when most of us would have preferred having some days where we could just drink from a water fountain that had sprung a leak, possibly from an insulation break. Lectures and PowerPoints in the morning that prepared us for understanding and memorizing all the core concepts, anatomy and physiology, rhythm strips, EKGs, single chamber, dual chamber, ICD, CRT, and then doing workshops in the afternoon that helped solidify the concepts we went through in the mornings. I wasn't sure what to expect when I began my time at PrepMD. I was coming from an unconventional background in film and photography, and I didn't know if it might fit for such a big career change. Then, on the first day of class, Monday, October 3rd, after our first big test, we stood up and introduced ourselves. Breaking the ice, a tactic used in every year of school since you were a kid, including college. Hi, my name is Gordon. I come from here. I studied this, I want to do that. Here are 2 truths and a lie. We've all done this small ritual so much that after a while you might start to believe that it couldn't really bring a group of people together that easily, right? Surely this is a trick used by the teachers to just help them put a face to our name and make sure they memorize where we sit. But before the week was done, the class here at PrepMD was already getting to know one another so well that we were making plans to all hang out and get to know each other better by the first Friday afternoon. So it was too cynical to think that breaking the ice was used for the benefit of the teachers. Besides, they had name tags in front of all our chairs. But that really was a concern when starting at this school. Was I really going to be so busy with work and studying that the only person I would really get to know well would be my roommate? So little to do and so much time. Wait, no, scratch that, reverse it. We had our breaks in between lectures, and that gave us time to talk with each other a lot more, to commiserate with each other, to wonder what would be on our next test, to guess who would be up in the roulette wheel of teachers for conducting the next lecture. Sure, we know the lecture schedule is posted at the front desk, but it's so much more fun to guess in the break room who would be ringing the bell for us to come back in to begin class. Plus, it's a dynamic industry, you guys. Things can change just like that. You have to be ready for it. Now, you may be thinking, Gordon, why was making friends a main concern at PrepMD? Shouldn't the work be coming first? Shouldn't you be participating and asking more questions in class? It's a valid point, Greg. And it's a great question. I hope to hear more thought-provoking questions like that. Keep it up. But the reason I didn't bring up work and studying first in my speech is because after the first week, even after the first test, us students let out a sigh of relief and relaxed our shoulders because we realized this was just school. They said the program was like drinking from a fire hose. But did it really feel like that once we got started? Many of us have worked and studied this hard for courses in college. While it was the school's best intentions to make us aware of the level of work and commitment needed for a program like PrepMD, at the same time, they knew we would be ready to put in the time and effort once we got a good rhythm going. Everyone might have felt nervous before arriving in Braintree. Maybe it's because some of us hadn't been in school for several years and we were worried about studying all over again. Maybe starting at this school meant leaving a place that you loved and you were familiar with to come to a city that loves to remind you just how cold feels. Maybe you were like me, having a complete change of career, about to begin walking down a path you hardly imagined before this year began. What it really is that people sometimes forget how easy it is to adapt to change. Most of us aren't always making drastic changes in our life because often we like things the way they are. And then something about you or your situation changes, and you realize that while it may feel odd at first, change is the best path forward. It's character building, and it's positive. How many times have your parents said something like that to you? You need to build character, roll up your sleeves, try something new, work smart and hard. And how many times did you roll your eyes at that because you thought you knew it already? Thank you, Mom and Dad. Now here I am saying this all to you, and I'm agreeing with them. Man, I really have transformed in these past few months. And really, that was the intention of this school all along, to prepare us for something big and new, our future career in the medical device industry, an industry that is always changing and always advancing, a career that doesn't begin with just an 8 to 5, and it doesn't end with fewer challenges. This is the kind of career that you can pursue for a lifetime. You'll be able to learn and handle so much more than you originally thought as you meet more and more people from a diverse background. Now let's get back to the friends I have here at PrepMD. At first, we were all getting along because we had found similar interests through that first day of Icebreakers. We wanted to hear more about where each of us came from. We wanted to learn more about what everyone was doing before they made this big new leap. And we wanted to show each other those hilarious YouTube videos that we just saw while sneaking in extra phone time in between breaks. Well, that was just me. But that's only because I think I have some of the best YouTube videos saved, and you all know it's true. You don't have to say it out loud, you can just nod in agreement. Oh, and we had a common goal that ran through all of our minds telepathically, that we were all going to pass PrepMD together and beat those dreaded Monday tests. That meant carrying one another to make sure we were all keeping up at the same pace. It also meant that in between our Friday afternoons and Saturday nights, where our times may have been spent at Callahan's Pub, the Sly Fox Bar, or venturing into downtown Boston, we also made sure to keep on top of our studying. Sundays were always dedicated to studying for all of us. Don't worry, we also studied during the week like you advised. We're all mature here. You guys know we studied for our tests, right? We had each other's phone numbers, which kept us just a text message away from each other. And we had our big chat room on GroupMe, which helped us make all the fun plans for the weekends. You know, in between all that studying we were doing. It may not sound like it, but those regulars down at Callahan's Pub really liked it when we told them about what we were doing and what the hell we were studying. Early on, it was difficult to give an elevator pitch about our eventual job title. Thankfully, Matt and Bob were there as our advisors day to day to help us give an exact definition of what it was we were going to be doing in the medical device industry and how to present ourselves to other people. We're doctors. Just saying that we're doctors. It rolls off the tongue quickly, and it's much more smooth than, well, I'm starting as a device tech field clinical rep, clinical specialist who works in implantable pacemakers, defibrillators. Well, not just that, it's also CRT devices, which are about synchronizing and getting 100% pacing, which is while the former is minimal pacing, but I'd be doing follow-ups as well. Those are checkups for patients. Did you know patients need a lot of checkups every few months? Yeah, and there's home monitoring, which allows me to work more closely and observe patients' pacing history. But no, there's also specializing electrophysiology. What's that? No, it's too complicated. I shouldn't get into the details. Besides, I think after working in a clinic, hospital, industry job, I'll be doing sales as well, where I work with a team and meet with the doctor and what am I selling? I don't know yet. I'm just trying to understand what the first job is. Anyway, it's time for us to graduate from PrepMD. We came here separately and journeyed together in these 6 months, and now we will begin walking down our own paths again. But that doesn't mean our connections with each other will be dislodged like a defective pacemaker lead. After the midterm, our class was split in half as the blue team and the white team. Go white team. Yeah. One group would be in class for a week while the other half was out for clinicals, learning what our jobs would really look like once we're out in the real world. But did being separated like that stop us from seeing each other and getting together on the weekends? It really didn't. Sometimes it was harder to get the whole gang together for one event, but this dynamic industry has taught us to be flexible and to appreciate our relationships. Besides, we're really lucky to be living in a time where we can always stay connected through our phones and the internet. I mean, think about how Bob, Matt, Greg, Susan, and Mike used to keep in contact. What was it, guys? One oil lantern by land, 2 by sea. Boom, roasted. Sorry, I had to get you guys at least once. After all, you did choose to pay me to give this graduation speech. Hey, I'm not being paid? We'll have to discuss this afterwards. Now, I know, I seem to mention a lot of things about our phones. Texting, GroupMe, email, YouTube, Snapchat, iPhones, iPads, gadgets, gizmos. I swear I'm not being sponsored by anyone. I just wanted to make a point that even though I will miss everyone here, there's no reason to think that we won't always be in close contact. Like I said earlier, this career has an endless pursuit for knowledge, and there will always be something new to learn. And when there's something I want to learn more about, I'm happy to know I can count on all of you to keep in touch. We're there to help each other and make it in this industry, even if the company I end up working for is way cooler than the company you work for. All right, my work here is done. We did it. Congratulations to everyone in the PrepMD class, 2016-2017.